Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Friday live stream. This will be a quick one, so let's just jump into it. First of all, I want to say happy 4th of July to all the Americans out there, if living here domestically or abroad. It is another great day to celebrate independence and, of course, a ton of different fireworks. Just be safe out there. As you can see here, the 4th of July is a pretty fun time, but watch out for those nasty fireworks that are there. But just congratulations. Here we are. We made it. So let's talk about today the different parts that are happening. Bitcoin is down yet again. And the question is why? Some people say, well, there's a new information coming out about new tariffs that are happening. The big, beautiful bill was passed, and we'll get into that in a little bit. And of course, everything's going to go to hell in a handbasket. It's awful. And then also, this is from the Bitcoin historian, it looks like $3 billion total has been moved from Bitcoin wallets that are 14 years old. Now, I don't know if this is just someone who just happened to find a wallet, or if this is just another one of those days where someone just wants to move it. Because just because things are moving does not necessarily mean that it's going to be sold. Now, some people say, well, I can track it and it's going to the centralized exchange wallet. Maybe, perhaps. But you can only track where one wallet is going to another wallet. You cannot track specifically transactions that are happening in the background. But yes, you can track it for the exchange. I don't think that's actually listed here. And I have to say, this picture is oddly goofy. I would not have posted this flow picture. Does not look like a not safe for work type of image. Anyhow, we can just see here that the transactions themselves, this is from Whale Alert. 10,000 Bitcoin was moved today. Another 10,000, another 10,000. So what does this mean? People are just freaking out and going, now here we go, and Bitcoin's going to sell, and da-da-da-da. I think really comes down to is people just want to take some profits, and they use any kind of excuse to say, see, it's going to go down, I got to sell. And that's actually where we're at. So I don't think this is a big deal, but I think there's other things on the horizon that could be more massive, and one of those would be the big, beautiful bill that was just, I think it's going to be signed today. I don't know if it's already been signed or not, but it was supposed to be on the president's desk. And this is from Ray Dalio, and he breaks it down pretty poignantly, and he says, and of course, you don't know who Ray Dalio is. He is one of the investment legends out there. He has talked forever about how China is going to be the next great world superpower. I don't know what's going to actually happen. Looks like they're in a lot more trouble than we are economically, but that's just me, especially in the real estate markets. But this is what Ray says, and he's got a point. So he says, and when I'm reading this, tell me if you don't think this is a great argument for Bitcoin itself. He says, the big beautiful bill, or the bill, is expected to lead to spending of about $7 trillion with inflows of about $5 trillion. No, not bad. I mean, we're just short $2 trillion, but what's a couple trillion? So the debt, which is now about 6 times the money taken in, is 100% of GDP and about $230,000 per American family. Yikes. This will rise over 10 years to about 7.5x the money taken in, 130% of GDP, and $425,000 per family. Now, look, before I go on, some people will say, yeah, that's right, it sucks. And they talk about it because they hate Trump. And some people say, that's ridiculous, I love it, because they like Trump. I'm not going to sit here and say it's going to be good or bad. There are massive flows and different descending opinions about if this will actually make it. Let's just see what actually happens. And then to finish this up, the big beautiful bill will lead to either a big squeezing out and cutting off of spending and or unimaginable tax increases. Now, this is where we get to the Bitcoin part. Or a lot of printing and devaluing of money. That sounds like something that Bitcoin could help with, just saying. And pushing interest rates to unattractively low levels. This printing and devaluing is not good for those holding bonds as a storehold of wealth. And what's bad for bonds in U.S. credit markets is bad for everyone because the U.S. Treasury market is the backbone of all capital markets. I have to tell you, this actually plays into marvelously for Bitcoin, especially if we have something that's a little bit more, that is not so subjugated to the devaluation. And if you just take a look over time, take a look at from 2010, how many Bitcoin it would take to buy a house. How many Bitcoin does it take to buy a house where you're at? Not that many, as opposed to say, 15 years ago. And then when he talks about here is about the devaluing of bonds. Isn't this a great time that we passed that Genius Act, which will lead us to stable coins, which will be right now, as Tom Lee has pointed out, is the number 13 holder of treasuries. And with this bill coming through, stable coins, Tether, USDC, and a host of others, will be the number 1 holders of treasuries and bonds because they have to back them by something. I have to tell you, this, I think, is playing into the hands. Now, this could all be puff and smoke, and I could just be out here rifting, but I think there's actually some good news here on the horizon. Well, let me know what you think about that in the comments section. And then to finish up, I thought this was interesting. Eric Balchunas, ETF analyst for Bloomberg, says that IBIT, or BlackRock's Bitcoin ETF, is now the 3rd highest revenue generating ETF for BlackRock out of almost 1,200 funds. Man, that's a lot. So I'm just saying, like, as people start to realize like how well Bitcoin is doing, and they start to hear stuff like this in traditional finance, this is just one more catalyst. So maybe what Ray is talking about and what Eric is talking about is the exact same thing. So we'll see if that works out. And then lastly, sorry to people who are in the Brazil ecosystem. It looks like there was a major, major hack. There was a cyber attack on C&M Software, a provider to Brazil's central bank, led to the theft of around $140 million on June 30th. I didn't hear anything about it. Attackers accessed reserve accounts of 6 financial institutions and converted 30 to 40 million into crypto. A CNN employee was paid 2.76 million for login credentials. So I have to tell you, that's for the Brazil's central bank. And they stole $140 million. I don't know. I believe they have some type of regulation that allows for what would be considered like FDIC here, where they can pay things back. Hopefully, people don't lose too much funds. I think it's not actually for the funds themselves, but in the reserve sector. So I don't think it's going to affect the individuals. But if you lose $140 million in a central bank, especially in Brazil, that's not something that can be taken lightly. Which would lead me to the last thing, is if you are leaving your money in a bank, well, you got to pay the bills, I get it. But maybe you want to be your own bank. Maybe you want to get into Bitcoin or crypto digital assets. And maybe you don't want those exchanges to get hacked like they usually do, Coinbase, to lose funds. So maybe you just want to get a Tangem wallet. And good news for you, Tangem is giving 18% off. That's a lot for their cards. All you got to do is there's a link in the description. You can click on that, and then you get 18% off. And don't be cheap like I was. Don't get 2 cards. Geez, 2 cards is $54, and 3 cards with it is $59. Don't be cheap. Get 3 cards. I got 2, and guess what? I lost 1. So now I had to get a whole new 3-pack. Just saying. Oh, and also, if you put in D.A.N and apply that, you get another 10% off. So that'll be the 23%. You're welcome. And that's it for today. So look, if you like today's video, give it a thumbs up, consider subscribing. And we talk about is time sensitive. Now let's get into a little Q&A, and we'll go to the best part of the show. And that's it. Let's see. Tons of money, no matter who's in office. That's true. Correction, 8 dormant Satoshi Era Bitcoin wallets reactivated after 14 years, moving a total of $8.6 billion in Bitcoin since last night. Yeah, it seems pretty bad. It's awful. Could somebody remind me, what's the market cap of Bitcoin again? Just asking. I mean, are they going to sell all of it? I don't know. Happy Independence Day. Happy 4th of July. Yeah, $27 for login. I think it was 2.7 million. I don't know if it's 2,760. I don't know. But somebody got paid. That's what happened to Coinbase. Somebody in customer service got paid, and they released all your information. And now those hackers know your name, they know your date of birth, they know your bank account, well, at least the last 4 or 5. They know your social, last 4. They know your date of birth, like I said. And also they have your address. Now, Coinbase said that's only 4.1% of users. We'll see how that works out moving forward. But if you've been getting a lot of Coinbase scam emails, calls, direct messages, you're probably on that list. Let's see, future profit. You lost one. I did lose one. I told you Well, first of all, I have multiple ledger sets, or excuse me, TANGEM sets. So this was one of my first ones. And I was like, well, since I dipped down to one, I just transferred into my other TANGEM wallets, which was no big deal. But I have so many. I have multiple ledgers, I have multiple TANGEMs, and I also use custodial service over at iTRUST, which is the same one that BlackRock and MicroStrategy use, which is Coinbase Prime. And because of that I got the 2 wallets, because I was a cheapskate. Now I have to go buy another 3-pack. Good news, it's massively off as far as a discount. So yeah, that's okay. So I mean, like, now you guys understand that as far as like with the TANGEM wallets, they come in like a set of 3. And if you lose one, not a big deal. You got 2 other ones. If you lose the second one, well, that's a bummer. Now you got to buy a 3rd one. And if you lose all 3, why are you losing so many damn cards? You should really get help. So in that situation, just remember that just get the 3-pack. Happy 4th. You'll never meet a poor politician. That's for sure. There was an image, and I can't verify it, but it said like 1%, 1 to 2%, no, 1% of people in the United States are millionaires. Maybe it was 4. Yeah, somewhere between 1 and 4. But it said 51% of politicians are millionaires. Go figure. Take profits. If there was profits to take, Spencer, that's the thing. There is profits. I mean, like I said before, you guys who watch this show, you're not tourists. You've been here for a long time. I can almost guarantee the most of you are in profits in something. I don't know what that is, but I know you're in profits somewhere. But you're still holding on for the big banana zone. Nothing wrong with that. Let's see. Happy 4th. Jump in the pool, look for a lost card. I think I'd see it. Still waiting for my 2.7 billion from the Nigerian prince. It could happen every day, any day. Look, I got an email from myself that said that, hey, Rob, send me 1 Bitcoin. I'll send you 2 back. I'm like, that's the weakest scammer I've ever encountered. Yeah, Dan Saruk says, that only affected like 5% of users. That's true. That's what they say. I thought it was 4.1, but okay, we'll go with 5. But as a reminder, they weren't going to tell anybody until, of course, they had to put that into the SEC because they're a publicly traded company, and they had to report that. Not a big fan of Coinbase, just not. Let's see. Happy 4th. Big bad dump. 1 banana. Agree. Yeah, I've been getting a ton of calls from unknown people. Didn't call right away. And Coinbase needs to notify if their account was compromised. I know if my information was exposed. Apparently, they've already contacted all the people, so that's it. And that's it. Justin Sun ate it. More money, more problems. That's a good way to leave it. So that's it for today. So look, again, everybody, like and subscribe. It's the 4th of July. Relax. Hopefully you're off of work. And if you're in the States, if you're outside the States, you're probably working today. So sorry. But that's it for this one. So thanks so much, everybody, for stopping by for a quickie. That's it for today. See you guys in the next one. Adios.